give the floor to Ms. Rosine Sori Coulibaly. Ms. Rosine, you have the floor.
Mr. President, distinguished members of the Council, thank you for the opportunity to brief you once more on the situation in Guinea-Bissau, particularly as UNOBIS draws nearer to its closure by 31st December 2020. As countries around the world grapple with the COVID-19 pandemic, the situation in Guinea-Bissau is particularly fragile given its dire health infrastructure and limited resources with peak still to come. The UN is supporting implementation of the National Response Plan to the pandemic, led by my deputy in his capacity as resident coordinator, together with the WHO, World Bank, and other UN agencies. As a result, a coordination framework was established and resources have been channeled in support of national efforts. Meanwhile, UN staff in the country have been telecommuting since the 26th of March. Mr. President, recent political developments in the country have led to a politically charged atmosphere with mounting mistrust among stakeholders, mutual accusations, and reported acts of intimidation against those opposing the new political dispensation have created a hostile environment, making it difficult to reach a compromise for the sake of political stability and consensus building around national peace-building priorities. While the new authorities are focused on consolidating power, the PAIGC is contesting the parliamentary vote of 29 June that approved the program of the Nuno Nabian government. PAIGC continues to question the legality of the session, alleging procedural errors and denouncing threats and intimidation against members of parliament that preceded the session. PAIGC continues to reiterate its call for a political solution. Vice President Ambalo has expressed the wish to form a broad-based government with Nuno Nabian as the Prime Minister. The prospects of a breakthrough are low given the PAIGC's strong opposition to joining the government under the current circumstances. A sustainable solution that promotes stability requires all sides to compromise, but this appears far-fetched at the present time as both sides remain deeply entrenched in their positions. Concerns about insecurity and human rights abuses, such as the 26th of July raid on Radio Capital FM, which is considered allied to the opposition, as well as the arbitrary arrest, intimidation, and detention of persons and political figures perceived as opposing the current administration, have been reported. These occurrences have heightened political tensions. Mr. President, Security Council Resolutions 2458 of 2019 and 2512 of 2020 determined a phase closure for UNOBIS. The transition, the reconfiguration of the UN presence in the country, and drawdown of UNOBIS are proceeding accordingly. The political crisis and the parliamentary paralysis that emerged following the presidential election prevented the mission from supporting urgent reforms outlined in the Conakry Agreement, including the review of the Constitution, the electoral law, and the law on political parties. Regretfully, therefore, UNOBIS' mandate is unlikely to be fully implemented before the mission's departure. Regarding the Constitution, the Technical Commission established by President Ambalo for its review on the 11th of May is expected to submit a draft to the President in the next few days. The establishment of the Commission has been criticized by several national stakeholders, including the President of the National Assembly, the PAJC Alliance, civil society organizations, and prominent legal figures who argue that the revision of the Constitution is the prerogative of the legislature. President Ambalo counter-argues that the work of the Commission is in line with ECOWAS requests and will provide the foundation for the revision of the Constitution in conformity with the country's legal framework. It remains unclear how the Technical Commission's draft will reconcile with the one being drafted by the Parliamentary Ad hoc Commission on the review of the Constitution, which UNOGBIS has been supporting. While there is no political consensus at this juncture on the approval process of a constitutional review, the parallel mechanisms and processes have a potential to further exacerbate political tensions. Meanwhile, the President has expressed his desire to change the system of governance from semi-presidential to presidential under the new Constitution. This will likely lead to internal disputes within the new Madem G15 Parliamentary Alliance, as well as with its supporters and the new Prime Minister, if not carefully managed and widely discussed, thus further compounding an already fragile situation. Mr. President, regarding the drawdown of UNOGBIS, despite the political crisis and challenges posed by COVID-19, coordination with the UN country team on the transition is ongoing. The Peace Building Fund has been utilized to identify and support key partners, including UN agencies, civil society organizations, for the continuation of implementation of key peace-building priorities. Efforts are ongoing to reconfigure the UN presence in the country to allow the UNC to continue critical peace-building activities, including political dialogue, confidence-building measures, urgent reforms, and combating drug trafficking and transnational organized crime following UNOGBIS closure. In coordination with the UN country team, with Peace Building Fund, capacity building activities for the National Assembly were supported, including tailored training for parliamentarians. Further to this, a comprehensive action plan is being defined by the mission in coordination with UNOWAS and ECOWAS to inter alia extend technical support to specialized commissions towards achieving cross-party consensus. In this framework also, civil society contribution to political dialogue and peace building is supported in coordination with the European Union. In this context, the women's groups continue to play a prominent role. My plan to establish a high-level platform bringing together relevant international partners and national authorities to discuss, sustain momentum, and accompany the country's reform effort is progressing. Following UNOGBIS closure, the platform would continue under the leadership of the resident coordinator and PBC commitments. Despite challenges, regular meetings of the UN Strategic Policy Group ensure high-level coordination and decision-making on joint strategic and operational issues. The assessment of the UN country team's capacity against peace-building priorities identified in the conflict analysis was concluded. A comprehensive assessment of the government and other partners' capacities remains outstanding. Meanwhile, opportunities and challenges for the UN country team have been identified, and peace-building priorities will be anchored in the new UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework, which will need to be aligned to the country's development program following consultations with the national authorities. Continuing our efforts in support to the country will remain crucial. Funding will be essential for averting a financial cliff, and I appeal once again to the international community to generously support the cooperation framework. Considering UNOBI's closure, the mission remains committed to explore options to move the process ahead. I have been engaging with regional partners to ensure that the UN transition is fully supported by all stakeholders. Coordination with international partners, including with the Group of Five in Bissau, and particularly with ECOWAS, continues. Additionally, tripartite coordination meetings between UNOBIS, ECOWAS, and UNOWAS are being held to accompany the transition process and for supporting ECOWAS mediation efforts. A strengthened resident coordinator's office is being envisioned with adequate and dedicated capacity to continue supporting the protection and promotion of human rights in the country. Meanwhile, the first phase of UNOBIS staff separation was concluded in July. Further separations are planned for September and December. A residual number of 28 staff will remain for mission closure and liquidation purposes until the 28th of February 2021. Mr. President, a prognosis of the current impasse and beyond underscores a need for continued and robust engagement by the international community to avoid a deterioration of the political and human rights situation, consolidate past democratic gains, and preserve the much-needed peace and stability. Entrenched postures and divisions among political stakeholders pose a serious threat to stability and sustainable development. All political forces must be encouraged to commit to constructive dialogue and consensus building around national priorities. The military and security forces must consistently be reminded not to interfere in politics. The security sector reform remains paramount, as the Conakry Agreement had highlighted. The military and security forces should become agents of change towards peace and stability. The implementation of key reforms, notably the constitutional review, as well as the continuation of efforts in key peace-building priorities, namely protection and promotion of human rights and rule of law, women's participation and gender parity, and fight against drug trafficking and transnational organized crime are an imperative beyond UNOBIS. I would also recall that, as included in the Conakry Agreement, the local elections are to be considered among the peace-building priorities. Accordingly, the continued role of the Peace-Building Commission in maintaining the international community's attention on Guinea-Bissau will be of utmost importance following UNOBIS' departure. This will help ensure long-term sustainable support for the implementation of peace-building priorities that remain crucial. Allow me to, therefore, encourage Council members and international partners to extend additional financial contribution to the Peace-Building Fund in support to its catalytic role and the UN transition in Guinea-Bissau to help shape the UNCT's footprint and enable it to continue supporting national efforts in implementing the Conakry Agreement. Mr. President, distinguished members of the Council, as UNOBIS advances towards its closure in less than 5 months, I would like to stress that the support provided by the international community to the 2019 electoral process was necessary but not sufficient to address the long-term political instability of Guinea-Bissau. Therefore, I wish to emphasize the need for the country to remain high on the international community agenda with paramount focus on reforms and the strengthening of state institutions. The recent political crisis linked to the electoral dispute is self-explanatory of the structural weaknesses of the country. The country and its people need your support to uphold stability, sustain peace, and advance socio-economic development. UNOWAS will be required to play a bigger good office's role. More importantly, your support to ECOWAS in its role as lead mediator and in putting in place an effective monitoring mechanism of its decisions will remain imperative. In conclusion, I would like to express my deep gratitude to the Security Council for its continued support to Guinea-Bissau in the face of recurrent political crisis. The people of Guinea-Bissau deserve a country with stable, transparent, and independent state institutions that adhere to the principles of separation of power, accountability, and the rule of law. I thank you for your attention. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the Special Representative for Guinea-Bissau, head of the UNOPIS, Ms. Rosine Coulibaly. And now I would like to give the floor to Ms. Ghada Fathi Wali, the Executive Director of the United